Welcome to Shift Drink. I am Chef JoJo with Extreme Culinary Outfitters, and if you haven't heard of us, we are a streetwear brand for chefs and people in our industry. And I tell you what, we are excited to be talking to you tonight. It's been interesting. Michelle, thanks for the note. We greatly appreciate it. There we go. Let's get our cameras right, JoJo. Losing the crowd. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing okay in these trying times. I know it's just extremely difficult. And I just wanted to do a little check-in, see how everybody's doing. It is definitely a difficult time, especially when we're looking at maybe 4 or 5 more weeks before we even open. And just recently, I was reading an article, and I've been trying to read. It's kind of hard and difficult to keep up with everything. I've been reading a lot about how people are going to come back after we're allowed to, right? Allowed to open the businesses. We have some businesses in Orange County that have already opened. And it's been interesting to see the reactions of people. They actually had people inside the restaurant, and they were sitting there 6 feet apart. And the guy said, what was the name of the restaurant? It was like Nomads in San Clemente. They were told, the guy got actual death threats, said that you're going to kill my grandparents. And he's like, look, man, and they called. I mean, they called or sent a message through social media, and they were like, we hate that you've opened your restaurant. And he said, look, you don't have to come to my place. I'm just trying to keep it open. And I was like, wow. And then, we have some really restaurants around here that have closed indefinitely. There was a restaurant, I think he had 3 restaurants, and one of his most popular ones, he closed indefinitely and just said he's not going to be able to reopen. So we have this huge, I mean, everybody knows it's a problem, right? But we have things happening where one group is figuring it out and they're doing really well. A buddy of mine, Chris Zorn, I need to hit him up. Maybe we'll have him on the show. He just got another food truck, and he is pivoting hard on this. I mean, he says he can't even, he has to keep up. He has to keep up. He and his boys are working nonstop. And I think that's great. Awesome. Then you got a guy, 7 miles away that's like, I'm out of business. There was an article that was put out, I think last week or in the middle. They're all over the place, right? You have to actually double check them. And it said that restaurants are scared to touch the loans that they've gotten because they're not going to be able to pay them back in 8 weeks because they might still be closed. And I'm sure that the government's going to get right on that and get that fixed. That's going to be tough, right? So there's people that have it and they're scared to touch it. So it's not even really helping. I jumped on a Zoom call, I think it was Monday of last week, and it was independent restaurants trying, too small to fail, and they had some really good points. Andrew Zimmerman was on there. It was really cool. They were really pushing to make a difference, and I thought, man, how awesome is that? So I watched all of what everybody had to say, and, they're saying they don't know how they're going to open. They don't know if they're going to be able to reopen, and they're trying to get some sort of relief, like where a grant not to pay back. On a side note, I was talking to a friend of mine, and his landlord's not even working with him. He's like, you can defer your rent. There was somebody wrote something very similar about a person in New York, and he's like, the landlord's like, yeah, I know, COVID, yep, I know, but the rent's still due. So they're just trying to make it happen as best as they can. And at least this landlord was like, hey, I know we're just going to defer. Well, 5 months, 4 months, no revenue. How are you do you take another loan out and try to fight your way out of that one too? There's just a lot of unanswered questions, and, people in our industry, I haven't done a very good job of saving a nest egg, right? And if anything goes sideways, things could crumble, right? And I'm sure everybody's facing with that. So it gets the stress level is super high. what kind of like, cousin got a comment. He says, managed to get through the unemployment phone system. Wow. I've heard people say that when they called in on the unemployment, it took them like 5 or 6 days. Sometimes they had to call at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, or 2 o'clock in the morning. It was just nuts. So congrats on that. And hopefully you'll be able to get back to work and get moving soon there, brother. There was an article that I thought that we needed to talk about, and I do want us to say something about it a little bit. Restaurants feel financial toll of COVID-19, but the mental toll is heavy too. Now, last week I was referring to this a little bit, and maybe the week before. They've all run together. Thank you. The going 1,000 miles an hour all the time, go, 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 was my bread and butter, right? That's what I was really good at. I could just go, 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 go. Now, everything's come to a nice stop, and it was a difficult transition for me. And this is what everybody is kind of talking about now, is like Andrew Zimmerman was on one of the industry leaders. Apparently he's jumping on all sorts of different podcasts. And he says, hey, we're living through some ambiguous days and weeks, and that was tough. Zimmerman shared personal story about addiction and addressed this time in history as a moment of global trauma. And it could be really, really difficult if you are, you can fall back into bad habits pretty easily when everything starts to get stressful. Or you could just lean on drinking way too much, right? Now, I was reading this and I was like, man, that's really smart. Everybody should probably try to do a little bit more. I was talking about that last week or the week before. Like, I'm trying to really focus in on my health and make sure that I stay healthy, like physically fit. It's been one of my goals. It's something I've been working on. And, having beers every night while you're cooking dinner was definitely making my runs extremely hard, really hard to recover. It just wasn't working. So I've cut the beer out for a while to try to get that health back in line. I was talking with a friend of mine, chef, and he did the same thing. He went to the doctor over the last couple of weeks. He's really focusing on, getting everything lined back out. He said he wasn't feeling 100 before, but now he's really, like, before all this crazy, and now he's really trying to focus on that. It's not just, drinking too much or, sitting around. It's not having an enormous amount of pressure on you and then just relieving it. And then a different pressure comes in. Like, you're under some sort of time restraint at work, but you know how to manage that. Now there's a different type of stress, different type of pressure. And for some people, some cooks, maybe they're living at home and everybody's depending on them to bring in the money. Who knows? There's all sorts of scenarios. But I know if that you have nowhere to be and nowhere to go, that it makes it very difficult to be productive or to stay on some sort of schedule. I mean, that's been the toughest thing, is to stay productive and stay healthy. So I'm trying to take the steps to make sure that maybe I'm running, 4, 5, 6 days a week. I'm going to try to do something active at least every day, at least a little bit of something. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm either writing or cooking or creating, because I've always been the creative type. I mean, when my creative outlets get kind of stifled, I start to go a little crazy. So I've really been trying to push that. Maybe that's the thing. And another thing is, have you guys been checking up on your coworkers, right? Our team meets every morning during the week, and we have just a huddle. And we get on there and everybody turns on their camera and we all see each other when we don't go in, but a lot of them are working from home. That's great. It doesn't take much to just text somebody and check in, especially with people that, maybe are living alone and it's really quiet at the apartment all day. I mean, there's only, like Scott said last week, there's only so much Call of Duty you can play, right? Try to check in on each other, hit us up. I mean, I got a message today from Michelle And I really appreciate that. She says, hey, keep it up. I really enjoy listening to you as I go through my journey. Just a note like that makes me go, oh man, I need to get in there. And we got a lot going on here at the house. And I'm like, I need to get in there and film that shift drink. Make sure that I'm talking to everybody. Make sure that we're staying on our schedule and our commitment to each other, that we're going to check in. I mean, it's not easy to find those moments, but what I can tell you is that if sooner or later we're going to be out of this, and there's going to have to be some sort of normal. And I don't want everybody to look back and say, oh man, I should have done this or I should have done that. I had the time to do it. I never did. I mean, I have a list I wrote and I've checked off a lot of it, but not everything. So I'm still working on it. Trying to be as consistent as I can. I hope you guys are doing the same thing. I mean, it's nice to be with the family. I've gotten some messages that are like, hey, I'm spending time with the family now. And it's been a great change. I will figure out the money stuff later, but I'm enjoying my kids. I haven't seen them in a long time. And I think, man, you can't beat that, right? Family time. We used to give that up all the time. And now we get to be with our family and cook for the ones that we love, and push yourself a little bit. Write those notes down. So when you come back, you're ready. You're ready for what's next. You've got your specials done. You've got it costed out. You've got a brand new menu. Not too long ago, a buddy of mine opened a restaurant. I think we talked about him on this podcast, and hopefully I'll get him on. Darren, he just bought his place, and then COVID hit, and he hasn't been able to open. And he sent me a text, and he's like, hey man, good shift drink. I'm taking this time to write new menus. I'm changing what I'm doing. I'm really going to cost him out. I think that's awesome. Like, I'm really trying to work on my skills, because the higher you climb, the further away you get from it. So, we've been roasting, we've been smoking, we've done a little bit of everything. Been working with the kids. Like, yesterday I taught my daughter how to make a full dinner, and she had to do it for Girl Scouts, which was awesome. So we worked together with that. We've made tarts. We've done stuff, everybody's baking and cooking, which is, isn't that what we love to do anyway? So that's been really nice for me. At the same time, it's not the ticket machine. I made a post and I said, man, I can't wait to start wearing the Chef Whites versus, my Extreme sweatpants. I love those. If you guys have a pair of those pants, they're super comfortable. If not, you can check them out on the store. What does Chef Tiny say? I might open up mid-month for to-goes for breakfast and lunch. I live in a tourist town. People are calling more. I'm seeing that they want food and more back to norm as possible. Look, Chef Tiny, everybody that's watching, the people that you can look it up. Orange County reopens, and Nomads was the name, in San Clemente. The people look ecstatic to be out. And when I was talking to my buddy, he's like, I got people calling me and saying, hey, when are you going to reopen? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to reopen yet. And because, we as an industry we love to do what we do, because that's why we do it. And we're all at home. Some restaurants are hustling, trying to make it happen. But I went and picked up some sandwich from a local place over by where I work, and there was like 8 people in the kitchen slinging food, because they're one of the only places open, on top of each other, right? And it's concerning. Like, are they going to, wash your hands, cover your face? I get it, right? But there's been articles now, is it safe to make people come in for our essential businesses? Well, you got to make money. You got to keep the doors open. And that's what the guy said at Nomads. He's like, look, I just got to do what's right for my family, my business. This is what we're going to do. And these people obviously are okay with it. And they were ecstatic. I think when we do come back, you guys better be ready. It's going to be gangbusters, because people are getting tired of staying at home and cooking at home. Which brings me to this next article, which I thought was really kind of good. It was sent to me on Facebook I'll tell you in a second, but basically it says, Alan DeCoste says it's safer to eat in restaurants than at home. That is, you know what? His point being, before we all freak out, is that he doesn't want you to have to go to the supermarket, right? It's a little clickbait. Thanks, fine dining lovers, but it's true. I think it's true. I think that the grocery stores can get a little crazy. I just went to Costco a couple of days ago, and even though that we have signs up and everybody's in a mask, no one's really. That meat aisle was like you were going in. It was almost like an MMA class. You had to put somebody in an iron triangle so you could get some chicken, and they're limiting it now, right? And I was like, man, you guys, let's everybody calm down. It's Costco. It wasn't as crowded, but there was a frenzy. There was a frenzy around the meat. It was like we got cut off. Like they were really excited about getting the last of the actual organic chicken breast. I didn't think that was, needed. I didn't think that you needed to be that aggressive, really. And you know what? It was an older lady. She cut me off. But that article sent to me by Alan was from Tanner McCarty. Thank you, Tanner, for sending that in. I think it's a good point. Like the grocery stores and all of that, if you don't want to take the risk, if you don't want to, man, restaurants can be a good, viable situation for you to go to. The article from a restaurant group that is opening in Hong Kong, I was reading this, and it was really great, well done, super well done. You guys should check it out. It's called the Black Sheep Restaurant Group, and their standard operating procedure, I think either National Restaurant Association shared it or somebody else, but just Google that and take a look at that. I think it would help a lot of you when you're going back, and it has, it talks about team morale and all sorts of stuff, and sanitize and clean and sanitize. I think we, as an industry, have lived clean and sanitized. Now everybody's starting to catch up. I mean, it's all based on how you clean and sanitize your restaurant and social distancing. We've been doing this for years. Everybody else is like, hey, did you know that you got to wash your hands and you can't leave your gloves on the ground in the parking lot? I mean, there's so many people that don't know how to use gloves. It's kind of shocking. Gloves don't make you a superhero. You can't just touch it and then touch your face. It's still, and then go back and get other things. You got to kind of know what you're doing a little bit. I just don't think that as we move forward, I want us to be ready. This industry for me is like it's my life. It's our lives. And I want us to take the opportunity and pivot as hard and fast as we can and be the leaders that we need to be for our team and for our friends. So check in on them. Ask them how they're doing. If you guys haven't, gotten on a Zoom call as a group, try to do that. Just check in. Make sure that normalcy as much as we can get. Hey, Michelle, I was just talking about you earlier. Welcome. Reason why I finally got on this evening is to do this. So a tip of the toque there. Or hat. I don't wear toques anymore. Look, try to do what you can to take care of each other and the people in our industry. So if you have friends you haven't talked to in a while, shoot them a text. Hey, man, haven't heard from you. Things are doing well. Hope you're doing all right. I didn't hear back from Darren. I need to reach out to him. I have a list of people that I need to reach out. And don't put it off. Don't say, oh, one more episode or one more Instagram flip. Try to take care of what really is important. And the one thing that I've figured out that's important is your health. One of my dearest friends that I've had in my whole life, like not my whole life, but my dearest friend that I've cooked with for a very long time. One of the most gifted, brilliant, and interesting fellows that I've ever been privileged to walk in a kitchen with or walk through this crazy life with. He lost his dad to COVID not too long ago. And it was heartbreaking for me to hear that he, so it's very close to home. Mike, thoughts and prayers with you and your family, brother. We have to take care of each other. And if we don't, who will? I mean, our industry is a service industry, but it's always eating its young, and it really does not do well of taking care of each other in it. And that's kind of what my new message, I think, is going to be moving forward, is like, how can we help you? Like, literally, how can we help you? We've said it for years to the people that walk through our doors, but have we said it to the people that are inside our walls? I don't know. How can we help you guys? We're here. I'm always around. You know, look, I just wanted to check in with everybody and see how we're doing. I'm glad, Tiny, you got your phone call already answered. And for those of you who got your loans and can use them and aren't scared, congratulations. That's awesome. For those of you who are still waiting for an email, good luck. I know that, you get the preliminary email and says, hey, we saw your application. And for those of you that are waiting for your restaurant to open so you can get back on your station, work on your skills. Do everything you can to come back bigger, better, faster, more in tune with what it is. And read. Google it, YouTube it, read as much as you possibly can to get ready. Tiny wants to know why they were going to closing processing plants. Would the virus not be killing by the deal with the processing plants, from what I've read, I'm no journalist, was the fact that the people that are there are getting sick. They don't have it set up to where they can maintain their social distancing. So they are closing the plant. It's not because it's contaminating the food, from what I heard. It's that they cannot process all the product. But that is the headline that I read of an article. So don't quote me on it or snip it out and say, this is what JoJo said, because I could definitely be wrong on that. But that's what I heard. I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Reach out, check on your people, try to take care of yourselves, drink plenty of water, and I hate to say it, but if you're having a lot of shift drinks, maybe it's time to say, oh, you know what? I'm going to have to work for them a little bit more. If there's anything that we can do, you need to let us know, because remember, how can we help you, right? As always, I'm Chef JoJo. If you like this video, you can subscribe and you'll get notified when we go live. Right now, we're doing live videos. I think it's easier to do the live video. Hopefully, I'll start doing some more of the shift drinks where we talk about how to climb through the industry. But right now, I really want to try to spread the word of what's happening. Where I see restaurants opening. Hope you guys are getting something from this. And if there's something you'd like me to talk about, you can always message me. So if you ring the bell and subscribe, you'll get notified. You can follow us on Facebook. Thank you guys for sharing articles on Facebook with us. Our Instagram, we post all the time there on Facebook. You can follow us on Snapchat too. I don't do a lot, but I will reply if you hit me with a snap. And until next time, cheers.